say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Maggie Mitchell. Gymnasts will now prepare for their first competitive event, the 2013 Secret U.S. Classic.
It isn't easy for me to let it go, 'cause I've swallowed every single word and every whisper, every sigh.
Welcome to the 2013 Secret U.S. Classic. I'm Amanda Borden alongside Samantha Peszek, and we're inside the Sears Centre here in Chicago, Illinois, as we gear up for our senior international competition. Team USA coming off a big win in London, which also means a rebuilding year for the senior division. However, we have some familiar faces here tonight.
Returning Olympians Michaela Roney and Kyla Ross are back in action, ready to prove that they're still among the world's best.
Well, they are the leaders tonight, but we also have some new faces to the senior division to watch for.
Up-and-comers Simone Biles, Lexi Priestman, Maggie Nichols, and Brenna Dell are definitely the up-and-coming gymnasts to watch. They can contend with the Olympians. However, whether they're a veteran or an up-and-comer, everyone is using this competition as a stepping stone to the P&G Championships in August, not only to vie for a spot on the national team, but the World Championship team later this year.
Well, this is where it's all starting, so stay tuned as we get right to the action here at the 2013 Secret U.S. Classic.
Words are empty, yeah. Give me nothing.
Be ready to smile with the confidence of a champion.
And we're starting our first rotation off here on the vault from Texas Dreams, Kennedy Baker.
Last year placed 8th at the Olympic trials in the all-around.
She has a lot of power on this vault. Yurchenko double full.
Little step back, but lots of distance.
Start value on that vault is a 5.8. Remember, part of the score is added up from the difficulty as well as part of the score from the execution. As we head over to the uneven bars for Gage, Brenna Dowell.
Bars is her favorite event.
She has a big combination coming right here. Huge release. Another one. Oh, she's supposed to connect that directly to the low bar. You can see she came up a little bit short on it, didn't have enough swing.
She seems to be fighting back, not getting off the bar.
She stayed on the bar on that mistake, but it was an extra swing.
And boy, bar routines are way harder when you break the rhythm. She has a lot of strength to finish up this routine.
Wasn't perfect, but it was very clean. She didn't break a lot of form. She had that extra swing in there, but that is a big combination. Catching in that reverse grip and then trying to directly connect it.
Now on balance beam for
Moving over to the balance beam. Erin Macadega from San Mateo. We saw the junior session. There were a lot of falls on this event in the first 2 rotations. The seniors should be able to control that adrenaline a little bit better.
Oh. Like we said, beam is a tough event to start, but everyone's got to do it.
Oh, side summy, save that there. We talked about this being a rebuilding year. That also means a new code of points. So we see a variety of different combinations.
Most notable changes appear on beam and floor.
Solid tumbling element there.
We're going to see a lot more front elements on beam. Here comes the dismount. Nice routine.
And a
Few
solid
wobbles here and
start.
there. Yeah. She stayed on.
We only have 3 events running currently, so we're going to take it right back over to the vault from Woga with Race, McLaughlin, Kennedy Baker scoring a 14.55 on that first vault.
Nice Yurchenko full.
A much easier vault, and that does affect the start value. In fact, that is only a 5.0. So when you see the double fulls, they already have an 8/10 lead. And of course, then the execution factor comes into it.
Although she was clean, I don't think she can contend because of the difficulty value in her vault.
Moving back to the uneven bars. Powerful athlete here with Simone Biles.
This is her first year competing as a senior, and just this year she was the runner-up at this year's AT&T American Cup.
Well, she has a lot of power, and she brings it on every single event. Her relief moves are huge. Of course, we'll see that power later on floor and vault. The score for Brenna Dowell, 14.05.
Simone Biles won the all-around last year at the Secret U.S. Classic as a junior. Wonder if she can do it again.
Little tentative there. Pressed it out. Oh, wow. We talked about the power, and that's where it's hard. They get a little extra adrenaline. You could see she's caught the bar, but just didn't have that dowel over. Tough way to start this competition for her. She's got to repeat in a different position.
Huge release moves, though. Nice finish in that routine. Stuck dismount.
You can see a little bit of disappointment. But as we all know, there's 4 events. Regain composure and head to the next one. So we move to the balance beam. Everybody waiting for this young lady.
Returning Olympian, Kyla Ross.
Now on balance beam,
From Gymnastics.
Kyla Ross.
The crowd's cheering a little bit louder for her.
A lot of little girls in the stands excited to see her. Kyla is absolutely beautiful on this event.
She's been training pretty consistently since the Olympics.
She participated in stops on the tour as well, and we all know, even training through all of that, it is tough to stay mentally in the game, but watching her warm up, she looks just as confident.
She seems to have had a growth spurt too, which does affect the timing of your gymnastics, but she seems to be handling it beautifully. Such a calm, graceful gymnast.
We talked about this competition being a stepping stone for a lot of these athletes. Kyla is qualified to the P&G Championship coming up in August, so this is in a sense a little bit of a practice meet for her and for a lot of the athletes to get back out in this arena.
I'm sure her focus is going to be on the World Championship team.
Small balance check there.
I've always been so impressed by Kyla's consistency, and you see it right here on beam. Beautiful beam routine by Kyla Ross.
She makes it look so easy.
She does.
And
Very
so far,
relaxed and
a much
comfortable.
better start for the seniors on this event, 2 for 2.
The seniors are experienced. They know what podium feels like. They understand the bounce and the way the equipment moves. They've had a little bit more practice under their belt than the juniors.
But no matter what, starting on the balance beam is always a tough spot.
Yes.
Taking it back to the vault for Texas Dreams, we have Ariana Guerra.
Now on vault for Texas Dreams, Ariana.
This is her first year as a senior. Nice solid vault. Stuck landing.
Yurchenko 1.5. Obviously that start value falls between the full and the double full, so she'll start with the 5.3 and the difficulty.
On uneven bars, the score for Amanda Simone Biles.
We're going to move back to the uneven bars. And before Michaela Skinner mounts, we'll give you the score for Simone Biles, a 13.65. And remember, that was with the fall. Wow.
Just missed her hand there. Almost had it. She was flipping and twisting and didn't get her dowel quite over the top of the bar.
Yeah, when you add that twist element, you could see one hand did make it, but there's so much force on those release moves. If both dowels aren't on that bar, it's definitely hard to hang on.
It was a very safe fall, though. She's fine. Going to jump back up and finish the rest of her routine.
Always tough to have to finish just about the entire routine. Oh, a little bit of break there. She's saving the handstand on top.
This is when your mental practice really comes into play.
Oh, another mistake there. She tips over her cast handstand. Of course, those extra swings.
Adding the extra swings definitely adds to the endurance factor of this bar routine.
which we mentioned at this point in the season for a lot of these athletes, they're just getting back into full routine shape. Don't want to peak too early, especially with it being a world championship year. So they're just putting all these routines together, landing them on hard surfaces. Back to the balance beam.
On balance beam, the score for Kyla Ross of Gymnastics.
Finishing up the rotation on balance beam from Twin City Twisters is Maggie Nichols.
Score for Kyla Ross, 14.65. Not bad. Beam is Maggie's favorite event. She was added to the national team after last year's Visa National Championships.
You'll hear a lot of athletes say this is their favorite event to train. However, it's always a good thing if this is the favorite to compete. Not always the easiest.
At Media Day yesterday, she said that it was cool rotating with the Olympians. So maybe that gives her an extra motivation.
I remember my first national championship when I rotated with my heroes, Kim Zemeskel, and I was in awe, to say the least.
We're going to be seeing a lot of these triple series with the new code. The 3-element series is a +1. Back handspring, layout, +1. Back handspring, layout, 2 feet is +2. Front aerial, a little bit of a bobble.
Looks like that was maybe supposed to be in combination. You mentioned the front elements and using those elements connected. It looked like the front aerial was supposed to go to the side semi.
Nice old hike.
Few balance checks throughout that routine, but half the battle is staying on it.
Figuring out the new code. Connections are key. They are crucial to succeed with this new code.
And because it's a rebuilding year, everybody's kind of in that same boat, trying to figure it out, put the right skills in the routine. So we move back to vault. Next up for Woga, Madison Koshin.
Huge double full, maybe opened up a little bit too early, so she landed short, but nice body position throughout, lots of height.
Had a little bounce in that landing.
Yeah, she did.
See a lot of these big vaults. You can see it just takes lots of repetition. Getting some corrections there on how to save that landing as we take it back over to bars. Senior member of the Cincinnati Gymnastics team and leading the juniors who we saw earlier, Amelia and Emily, is Lexi Priestman, who'll be next up on the bars.
This is her first year as a senior as well, but she already went to Italy this year where that team won a gold medal. She placed 5th in the all-around and 3rd on vault in Italy.
And a lot of experience coming into her senior year. She's the junior national champion and has been on the junior scene for quite some time. Michaela Skinner scoring 11.15. A lot of execution deductions in that routine with the fall and mistakes.
Lexi did say that she does have an upgrade on bars that she's not doing at this competition.
I'm sure she'll hope to have that in by the national championship.
Sometimes it's good to have easier routines to get your feet wet during this competition season. Huge.
Nice
gotcha.
release. She actually missed that in the touch warm-up.
She was a little far, but definitely got her hands on the bar.
Winding up for the dismount.
Nice routine. Very clean.
We talked about it earlier. Sometimes it's good to have some mistakes in the warm-up. You never know how athletes are going to rebound from that. She walks over to her coach and my personal coach, great friend Mary Lee Tracy, and her daughter Rachel.
Definitely, I know my touch and warm-ups, if they were bad, that meant I was going to do really well in the meet. But I don't know how my coaches felt about that.
Probably nervous.
Probably.
And
always full of surprises.
That's right. Wrapping up on vault from Texas Dreams, Peyton Ernst.
Nice double full and stuck the landing. There was no movement there.
I think that might have been the farthest one we've seen so far.
Inside the lines. She'll get a very good execution score on that.
For Madison Koshin on vault, she scored a 14.45. And Maggie Nichols on the beam, a 13.9.
Michaela Skinner's mistake on bars cost her a little bit. She ended up getting an 11.15.
We have one competitor left in our first rotation.
On balance speed, the score for Maggie Nichols of Twin City Twisters, 13.9.
Up next on bars, Abigail Millier from Denton.
She's going to have to wait a few minutes. Normally there's a beam routine and a floor routine. Between these bar routines, we've only had one vault. So you'll see her go through her mental routine. We talked earlier in the junior session, this is always the toughest part, waiting for the judges. And the score for Lexi Priestman, a 14.35.
Nice combination, a little close. Made sure she got on that bar.
Beautiful lines throughout this portion of her routine. Great extension and toe point.
Long legs.
Of course, those are all aspects that affect the execution score. Finishing double front.
Very nice. Nice
routine, and that concludes rotation 1 here at the 2013 Secret U.S. Classic.
This concludes competition for the first rotation. The athletes will now advance for rotation 2.
Gangnam Style. Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Oppan Gangnam Style. Hey, sexy lady. Oppan Gangnam Style. Hey, sexy lady. 정숙해 보이지만 놀 땐 노는 여자. 이때다 싶으면 묶었던 머리 푸는 여자. 가렸지만 웬만한 노출보다 야한 여자. 그런 감각적인 여자. 나는 선어해. 점잖아 보이지만 놀 땐 노는 선어해. 때가 되면 완전 미쳐버리는 선어해. 근육보다 사상이 울퉁불퉁한 선어해. 그런 선어해. 아름다워 사랑스러워 그래 너 그래 바로 너 아름다워 사랑스러워 그래 너 그래 바로 너 지금부터 갈 때까지 가볼까 오빤 강남스타일 오빤 강남스타일 강남스타일 오빤 강남스타일
Put your game face on, saying supple and twist your best. Look good while doing it with easy, breezy, beautiful Cover Girl.
뛰는 너, 그 위에 나는 너 Baby baby 나는 뭘 좀 아는 너 뛰는 너, 그 위에 나는 너 Baby baby 나는 뭘 좀 아는 너 You know what I'm saying 오빤 강남 스타일. Sexy lady. 오빤 강남 스타일. Sexy lady. 오빤 강남 스타일.
And the rotation one, the score for dinner, Texas Breeze on ball, 14-17. And the score for Abigail Millett of Denton on uneven bars, 14.2.
When I was young, it's not my problem. It's not my problem. When I feel heavy metal, and I feel that I need when I lie and I'm easy all of the time, but I'm never sure why I need you. Please let me down.
Competition now resumes with rotation two. Starting off the
We are back inside the Sears Centre here at the 2013 Secret U.S. Classic. Leading after the first rotation, Peyton Ernst, as we head to the bars. And joining us here, 2012 Olympic gold medalist Jordan Weber. It has been an exciting year. Tell us what you've been up to.
Oh, it's been such a crazy year since the Olympics. I've had a lot of fun. We did the tour, obviously, so that was a blast. And everything's just been a crazy whirlwind since the Olympics, but I've enjoyed every step of the way.
What's been your favorite experience? I know you've done so much, but if you had to pick one thing.
I think the tour was my favorite part, just because we were all together as a team, and we bonded a lot on that tour. So it was a lot of fun, and we got to perform and meet all of our fans.
Did you have a favorite stop?
Definitely the one stop in Michigan, Detroit. So I had all my family and friends there watching me.
That's fun.
Nice routine by Grace McLaughlin out of Woga. And I hear you're training. Does being here give you the itch to get back out there?
Totally. Just watching all these girls compete, and especially seeing Michaela and Kyla out there competing, definitely gives me the itch, and I can't wait to be out there by their side.
We're going to watch Simone Biles on the beam, and we're going to see Kyla Ross next on the floor. But you've also graduated high school, so what's up next? College plans?
Yeah, hopefully someday, I'll be out, back out there competing. But for now, I'm gonna focus on just training, and eventually I'll be going to UCLA for college. So I'm very excited about that.
Congratulations!
Thank you. So right now I'm just kind of taking it one day at a time.
Sam can't say anything because she's a UCLA gymnast too, but you're going to love it.
I'm excited for you. It's been an awesome experience. The college in general is an awesome experience. So no matter where you go, I'm sure it's great.
Simone had that fall on the uneven bars, and Jordan, you can maybe explain what it's like to then head to this event, which is not an easy one to do.
Another 3-element series, trying to get that extra bonus. Everyone's just trying to figure out the code changes this year, and for Simone, she's had lots of international experience, but this meet for her is a chance to debut new routines, new skills and combinations to see how they affect with herself and with the judges, and maybe make some changes before the P&G Championships.
We mentioned how much power she has, and a lot of times on this event, lots of power-packed skills in there, but then you also see those doubts on the landing. Jordan, we talked earlier about your first U.S. Classic when you were 10 years old. It wasn't on a podium. What was that experience like for you as a junior?
I remember it just like it was yesterday. It was so much fun for me. I was so brand new to the elite scene, but I just remember going out there and having so much fun.
We talked about how we felt like some of the juniors that it was their first time here almost didn't even comprehend the pressure, and they did better than the more experienced juniors who knew the pressure. But here is your Olympic teammate, Kyla Ross. She nailed her beam routine, and now she is up on floor.
Is it weird not being out there cheering for her in a leotard?
It is so weird, but I'm really happy that they're back out there, and I'm excited to cheer them on.
Kyla has a new floor routine that she is debuting, and that double Arabian to a stag is an extra 10th bonus. She did that perfectly.
They did make some changes in the code on floor where it has to be a E element like a double Arabian to that stag to get the bonus, not just a double back.
And also the new rules regulate the amount of time that the athlete can spin in the corner before a tumbling pass. So now they will dance directly into their tumbling skills.
That rule might have been hard for me because there were no rules. We could stand, we'd do a few extra poses and breathe.
Maybe 3 breaths before that last pass. But
on top of the fact, we only had 3 tumbling passes, sometimes an extra side pass.
They're trying to make it really tricky. I think to encourage more artistry. I've noticed that a lot with the floor routines today.
Oh.
A little bit short on that last pass, but like we said earlier, this meet is a stepping stone. She does not want to peak right now. I'm sure that landing did not feel well on her ankles, but the main goal is the P&G Championships and World Championships after that, so I'm sure she will be practicing and getting her endurance level a little bit higher.
For a lot of these athletes, this is, the first big meet where they're back in routine shape, and looked like there was just a little endurance issue there as we move back to the uneven bars. Ariana Guerra.
Double-double out on floor. I remember when you were super little, you came to a camp at my gym, and I had just learned a double-double, and John Getter was like, Sam, teach her one. And you picked it up in like 3 turns.
I remember that.
That doesn't sound like an easy skill to just pick up.
I remember thinking, man, this girl's gonna be good.
Jordan, what's your favorite event?
Currently, I like vault and beam the best. So.
But training all 4?
Yes.
Nice double layout, full out.
Clean and solid routine. Chris Burdett, one of her coaches, giving her a few corrections. Moving back to the balance beam. Simone Biles scored a 13.95, and next up from Desert Lights, Michaela Skinner.
Michaela Skinner.
I know you said you're training again. Where do you see yourself in 2016?
Hopefully I can make another run at that Olympic team. So, but like I said, it's all about taking it one step at a time.
Mm-hmm. I I remember watching all the competitions here in the States, and it looked like you guys were having a ball on the competition floor. But what was your favorite experience on the competition floor at the Olympics?
I think definitely that team competition. You know, we went into it, we were obviously focused, but we were also cheering each other on the whole way and having so much fun. And I think that's what, you know, ultimately led to us winning that gold medal, was just the fact that we were bonded as a team and cheering each other on the whole way.
Awesome.
Difficult tumbling from Michaela Skinner. Back handspring Arabian and a back handspring tuck full.
Trying to make up for her fall on bars with all of this difficulty.
We talked about a lot of the connections, judges specifically looking for the rhythm of the connections, and of course the speed and the arm movements. They're very particular about the way the arms are circling into those connections.
And the difficulty is good, but the execution is almost even more important than the difficulty, which is what she's going to need to work on if she wants to be in contention for being one of the top seniors.
Finish there with a double tuck and a step forward. We've seen a lot of the seniors staying on the beam, which is a good sign, but another crowd favorite and one of your teammates again on the floor exercise, Michaela Maroney.
Floor exercise for All Olympia, Michaela Maroney.
Michaela also has a new floor routine that I'm sure everyone is here is excited to see. I don't know, but I'm guessing it has lots of sass in it.
Oh, flag one up there on the double layout.
2.5 layout solid.
For Michaela, this is her first competition of the year. And she mentioned she just wanted to relax and enjoy the competition, not freak out.
I'm not sure what the definition of freak out is. You know Michaela better than us. What does that mean?
I don't know. I think for Michaela, the most important thing is just, you know, performing. That's what she does best. So I can see that she's, you know, enjoying this.
Does it look like she's freaking out?
No, not at all. She looks completely calm out there.
Yeah, she does. Double Arabian stuck.
Not an easy landing to stick. Of course, you can't see the ground till it's there on those blind landings.
And with the new code, sticking is what everyone's goal is after all these hard passes. Nice solid double pike. Well, I'm impressed with Michaela. Looks like she's back to her old self. Had a little bit too much power in that first pass.
Well, when you haven't been back out in this environment, you have a lot of adrenaline. That can be hard to control, but a great routine. And Jordan, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll see you at the P&G Championship, right?
Yes.
Excellent. We're going to take it back over to the uneven bars.
Madison Koshin from Woga.
15.95. Now on uneven bars for Woga.
Ariana Guerra scored a 13.95. Release move up to the high bar.
Shaposh half.
See so many of the elements now pirouetting. Those pirouettes have to happen right on top of the bar to get credit and get some of those connection values, and or it's a major deduction.
She has a very long bar routine. Nice.
Beautiful form throughout that routine, along with that long bar routine and lots of skills.
Lots of difficulty, but I wouldn't expect anything less from a Woga kid.
We're going to head back to the balance beam. Michaela Skinner scored 13.55. And Sam, like you mentioned, she had a lot of difficulty. Her difficulty score was a 6.2. Her execution, 7.35. So if she would fix that part of her score, it'd be a solid beam routine.
Michaela Skinner, who had just competed on beam, got a 13.55.
And up on the balance beam is Abigail Millier.
Nice front tuck sheep jump, and that combination is super hard with the new code because she can't swing her arms down after the front tuck to have momentum in the sheep jump. You have to go right away without swinging your arms.
And another solid combination there.
Her connections look very clean. No questions about them.
Oh,
Wow, she had a good beam routine going.
regaining her composure.
We talked about beam being a little tough when you start out, but seems like beam is a little tough no matter where you compete it.
Well, it's known as the make or break event. That is for individual competitions as well as team competitions.
Nice switch ring. Lots of amplitude on that. It's all about the mental training here.
She had beautiful dance elements throughout this routine.
Nice dismount.
Wow, that's too bad. Beautiful beam routine, minus that fall. But for most athletes, that's an easy fix. That's lots of numbers when they get back to the gym as we take it over to the floor exercise. And we have Maggie Nichols from Twin City Twisters.
Score for Michaela Maroney, 14.35. Out of bound deduction for her was a 0.3.
Even with that deduction, that is the highest score so far on the floor exercise. Big double A out there.
Nice. She was on the team that traveled to Italy this year and won a gold medal there. Piked full in.
Maggie started on the balance beam where she scored a 13.9.
Cool arm movements in her turn. Trying to be unique, add that artistry and flair into her floor routine. You see she starts on one leg, which is part of the new code. Nice 2.5 stuck. Switch ring into switch half. Double tuck. Nice floor routine.
So fun to watch the different styles and personalities. See good performances from the senior athletes. So we head back to the uneven bars, and the score for Madison Koshin was a 14.45. And up next from Texas Dreams, Peyton Ernst.
She placed 7th last year at Visa Championships as a junior, and then was placed on the national team shortly after that.
Beautiful Jaeger. Lots of releases, great save there. You can see going for those handstands, it's very easy to tip over. But that's an element the judges specifically look for in the execution score.
Nice stuck dismount.
And the stick landings help too. Solid routine.
On balance beam, the score for Abigail Millett of Denton.
Moving back to the balance beam. From Gage, we have Madison Desch.
This is the only event that she's competing tonight, so in order to petition to the P&G Championships, she has to compete on this event.
Score for Abigail Millier, 14.2.
So there's like a 2-event score, a 3-event score. There's no 1-event score, so she just has a petition, and then the selection committee will decide. But she was second at championships last year as a junior, so.
Another 3 series, solid. She was second last year at championships as a junior. And depending on her performance on the beam tonight, the selection committee will review her routine and decide if she should be able to be accepted to the P&G championships in August.
Well, that's a little bit of an added pressure. This
I would
event
say
is
so.
already hard enough.
But I think making a very nice routine would prove a lot for her. She won the beam title last year at championships in the junior division. However, this is her first senior meet, so it might add a little bit of pressure.
Big combination there. Round of back handspring, double back dismount.
Nice routine.
Handled the pressure well.
She said one of her goals is to make worlds this year. So this is definitely a stepping stone if she wants to be in contention for that.
Now on floor exercise.
Al Fong, her coach, giving her some feedback on that routine as we head to the floor exercise. And Erin Macadeg from San Mateo.
Going straight in her first pass. Double Arabian. I don't know about you, Amanda, but when I was competing, I feel like floor was way easier in competitions because you had that little extra adrenaline. For me, floor training routines was the hardest because of endurance and no one was watching you, so it was a little bit harder to get motivated.
Yeah, and it's much easier to perform when thousands of people are watching versus in front of your coach at your gym over and over and over. We also talk about the podium, and on this event, I know that little extra bounce was always a good thing on my last tumbling pass when I needed it most.
Definitely. Although it's a little bouncy, you see that pass right there, she stumbled out of it a little bit. Not being used to the bounce of the equipment makes it hard to feel the floor and really stick those landings.
She has beautiful flexibility, you can see on those leaps.
Few steps back, and that will come with experience.
See so many of the athletes really striving for those sticks so they keep their feet together. Back in the 90s, we were able to lunge out of those, so you were able to cover up.
Does this mean that I'm old? Because in 2008, we could lunge too.
That actually makes me feel better.
So what are you trying to say, Amanda? But now with the new code, if you take a big lunge, it could be anywhere from 1 to 3/10 of a deduction.
And when you have 4 tumbling passes, that becomes a big deal.
Almost
finishing
as much
up
as a fall.
On the bars for Texas Dreams, Kennedy Baker.
Had a little bit of a trouble in warm-up.
On that skill right there, no problem. She actually caught her heels.
She wanted to make sure she got it.
Came up short there. Covered it up. Repeated the element.
Nice cover. Handled
She
that
actually
beautifully.
ended up adding 2 extra skills in there, so it's a test of the endurance. She dismounts double front.
Nice routine.
See
Great
that
save.
Step back there on that dismount double front. It's a blind landing, so it's hard to judge where you're at.
Coach Chris Burdett, Kim Zmeskal Burdett's husband.
On balance beam, the score for Madison Desch of Great American.
Last routine on the balance beam from Brenna Dell from Gage. And the score for Madison Desch, a 14.15.
She placed 9th at Olympic trials last year. So I'm sure her mind is focused on world championships as well.
Small balance check there on that combination. She started out on uneven bars where she scored a 14.05.
interesting leap combination to a full twisting back handspring into a back handspring layout. Wow. Not quite connected, but we can see the potential. Yesterday, she said she doesn't see herself as an underdog anymore. So I don't know if that's more pressure or if that's confidence talking.
I remember as a senior athlete, your first year in, you kind of don't know what to expect. And then the third, fourth year in, you start becoming an athlete people are watching for and expecting more and more from each year. It does sometimes come with added pressure, but through confidence, you gain that experience and hopefully become a leader of the senior division.
Well, she sure does have a lot of skills in this beam routine. She was on the Italy team 2 years in a row, doing very well, which shows the selection committee that she's very consistent, especially internationally, which is what they're going to be looking for when they pick the team for World Championships.
Strong dismount there. And that wraps up rotation 2, and we'll be back with more as we head into rotation 3.
This concludes competition in the second rotation. Gymnasts will now advance for rotation 3.
And it feels like I am just too close to love you. There's nothing I can really say. I can lie no more. I can hide no more. Got to be true to myself. And it feels like I am just too close to love you. So I'll be on my way.
Outlast your day, any day, with Secret's 48-hour odor protection technology. New Secret Outlast.
Last day, Deb. Checking out of the Hilton shouldn't be a pity party. Your next trip is calling. Saying, Deb, find a view for 2 at a Conrad. Or, make room for more at an Embassy Suites, Deb. Or, Deb, lead a victory dance at a Hampton. So chin up, love, and never stop vacationing. Book during the Great Getaway for great rates at our 10 top hotel brands. Travel is calling you to HiltonGreatGetaways.com.
What's something that's slow that you wish was fast?
Turtle.
Really? A turtle?
Yeah.
And what about you?
I'd rather be a slow turtle.
Well,
I know why. Because when you're slower, you won't have to get in the street as fast and get ran over.
But if you're a slow turtle and you're in the middle of the street, what happens? Austin? Exactly.
It's not complicated. Faster is better. And AT&T is the nation's fastest 4G LTE network.
In gymnastics, anything is possible because it's not just about perfection. It's about persistence. It's not just talent. It's training. It isn't every 4 years. It's every single day.
USA Gymnastics and AT&T invite you to see gymnastics like you've never seen it before. Go beyond the training and straight into the hearts and minds of America's Olympic hopefuls as they follow their dream to represent the United States at the Olympic Games.
Visit att.net/Team USA and watch each episode of Behind the Team. Follow the fun and the friendships of these amazing athletes and hear their incredible stories in their own words. Because in gymnastics, it's not just about their dreams, it's about the journey, and anything is possible.
Welcome back to the 2013 Secret U.S. Classic. You can see the standings right there. Peyton Ernst leading the way after 2 rotations. We're going to be starting out on vault with 2012 Olympic gold medalist and silver medalist, Michaela Maroney.
Silver medal on this event at the Olympics. Everyone knows she should have gotten a gold medal, but maybe we'll see the gold medal vaults here tonight.
She will be performing 2 vaults. Both of them some of the highest amplitude I've ever seen on this event. Her first vault, the Amanar, that's the 2.5 twist.
Wow, huge. Little step forward, but wow. It's still as big as ever.
When you're sitting up close, she makes it look effortless. We see a lot of Yurchenko double fulls in the senior division, but taking and adding that extra half twist makes it a completely different vault.
Unfortunately, no, though, with the new code, it was devalued from a 6.5 start value to a 6.3, not by too much.
Still 5/10 higher than the double full.
Big advantage here. Getting ready for her second vault, she's going to be doing a Mustafina, which is worth a 6.0.
So where she'll do a half onto the table and then a layout full off. It happened so quick. This is where you actually like waiting for the judges, can catch your breath and regroup for a second vault.
This vault is not as consistent as her other one, but it's still huge, and I think from experience and through numbers, it definitely will get there. There's no one that vaults like Michaela Maroney.
The score on her first vault, a 15.6. The difficulty score again is 6.3, execution 9.4, and she did have an out of bounds, little off center of the line, so that was a 0.1 deduction.
The crowd's getting a little bit louder, getting ready for her second vault. They're excited. Here she goes.
Nice. Another impressive vault. She has the hop on the landings, but there's a lot of girls in the room that would like to just do one vault like that. And she's obviously back in this competition, but probably hasn't had as much training under her belt as she normally would. So move to the balance beam for Texas Dreams, Ariana Guerra.
It has to be intimidating going after Michaela Maroney and going on beam.
Ariana, 5th in the all-around after 2 events, and a solid tumbling pass there.
Nice solid flips. That was a standing back layout step out. Oh, little misconnection there. Another leap.
Lots of powerful elements in this routine.
And with the new code, you have to have a side dance, not just turning to the side, but a full dance movement to the side, which she did right before that nice double pike.
And a great routine.
Texas Dreams on balance beam.
Moving back to the floor exercise, leading off the 3rd rotation, Michaela Skinner.
She's definitely one to watch. If she throws the first pass that I think she will, it is going to be amazing.
She has a lot of difficulty on all of her events.
Good thing Marta and the selection committee are sitting right in front for this routine.
Get a good view.
Lots of concentration here. And she does it. Double, double laid out.
Saw that flag went up. She did go out of bounds. Has a very difficult pass. Coming right back with that double Arabian.
Into a stag leap to get that 1/10 extra bonus point. She said yesterday that after her double-double laid out, all of her other passes seem very easy. And her double Arabian to a stag definitely looked easy for her. Oh, double tucked. This routine
has
is
a third
stacked.
tumbling pass,
Yeah.
by the way.
Stacked with difficulty.
The biggest thing that Michaela needs to work on is, like you mentioned on balance beam, the execution of these skills, because she has the difficulty. I can't wait to see the difficulty score on this routine. But landing short with that chest down, of course, those steps forward, out of bounds on that first pass. If she can clean those kind of things up, it's going to really make a big difference.
The scary thing is, if she does a double-double laid out and a little tucks at the end, it's going to be considered a double-double tuck, and she's going to be repeating a skill.
And completely missed that last tumbling pass.
Wow, but lots of potential in this routine. The difficulty there, I think that might be the highest, most difficulty in the whole competition tonight.
Yeah, we'll definitely watch for that score.
Michaela Maroney on vault, 15.425. Not bad for the returning Olympian, I'd say.
So we're back on vaults with Twin City Twisters, Maggie Nichols.
Nice double full, landed a little bit with her legs split, but solid, landed with her chest and arms up.
You know, when the judges are watching the same vault over and over, it comes down to details like that. The landing position, arms and chest. Are they up, down, forward? And of course, the distance and staying in those lines, all factors on that event.
Next on beam, Madison Koshin for Woga.
Madison second in the all-around after 2 events.
Leading off with a standing Arabian.
And a good save.
Looks like she second-guessed herself a little bit on that landing. Oh. We talked about this earlier in the junior session, the difference between landing on the beam and with the beam. Sounds like the same thing, but with the podium, you really have to land with the beam. Bend your knees and absorb the bounce.
That's something Jordan Weber was amazing at. She would be off. Oh, obviously a fall there. That is 1 point of a deduction. But Jordan would let the skill finish, and even if it wasn't perfect, she would just settle into the landing like no big deal, where you see some of these younger athletes doubting the landing before they even really finished the skill.
Amanda, you talked about how the first skill on beam is crucial in setting the tone for the routine. And Madison had a little bubble on her first skill, and it seems like she couldn't pick it back up for the rest of her skills.
Well, beam is all a mental game, like you've mentioned, and it's that rhythm. It's getting into the rhythm that you do over and over in the gym. Not any faster, not any slower.
She seems to be getting the hang of it in the second half of her routine.
I know for me on this event, I really had to do some verbal choreography and almost talk myself through the routine to keep me on the right pace.
Nice finish to the end of that routine. It's always hard to come back after a fall.
Moving over to the floor exercise, Cincinnati's Lexi Priestman. We did not see her on the balance beam, but she is back in the lineup on floor exercise.
Now on floor exercise for Cincinnati.
Another athlete, very fun to watch on this event. And the score from Michaela Skinner, 13.05. The difficulty score was a 6.3.
Although this is her first year as a senior, she's had lots of international experience. Huge double-double, little step out on that landing. Very clean in the air though. She also said she has an upgrade on floor that she's saving for the PNG Championships.
Wow.
Laid out full in, wow. Just recently, she went to Italy as part of that team that won a gold medal, placed 5th in the all-around.
Combination pass through to that double tuck. Good thing she didn't step back on that pass. She would have been out of bounds.
A little bit more of a mature routine for Lexi. I'm used to her doing the sassy, smiley floor routines. But I think this is more fitting for the elite level, the senior competition.
Well, very powerful music, and that complements her powerful tumbling. She had big tumbling passes so far.
She will definitely get rewarded nationally and internationally for all this hard tumbling. Wow.
Well, double flips and twists all in every single pass. Very impressive and clean landing. She had that out of bounds on the first pass, but other than that, should be a good execution score as well.
On vault, the score for Maggie Nichols of Twin Cities.
Moving back to vault. Next up, we have Erin McAdag from San Mateo, and the score for Maggie Nichols.
On vault for San Mateo, Erin McAdag.
Nice, clean, full. Big step back on the landing. Lots of amplitude. Not quite the difficulty as some of the other competitors here, but it was very clean. Maybe she's saving her body, saving her upgrades for a bigger competition.
Looks like she had a lot of power and distance, which means we might see an extra twist in there.
Now on balance beam for Texas Springs, Peyton Ernst.
The score for Madison Koshin on balance beam was a 12.8, and mounting the beam from Texas Dreams, Peyton Ernst.
This is her favorite event. Three-element series, nailed it.
When the athletes perform those layout 2 feet, the judges specifically looking for a complete laid out position till their feet hit the beam, which means chest has to be completely up at the end. She did a great job with that.
She was added to the national team shortly after championships last year, but she already went to Italy and went to a World Cup in Japan where she placed 2nd in the all-around. Front tuck wolf jump. Not sure how lenient the judges will be on that connection. A little slow. Back handspring, double pike.
Solid routine. The score for Lexi Priestman on floor was a 14.8, and for Erin McAdag on vault, a 13.95.
14.8. Now on floor exercise for Denton, Abigail.
So we move back to the floor exercise where we have Abigail Millier.
The girls are already starting to cheer for Kyla. She's standing on the podium. Tucked full in, huge. One and a half to a double tuck, little step back, 1 foot out of bounds. She's one of those gymnasts that are powerful and flexible.
It's a great combination for this event.
Yes, it is. Might not have the experience that some of the other girls may have, but I think competing among the world's best definitely makes her rise to the occasion. Front layout, front double full. Solid stuck double pike to finish with.
She almost held on to it for a second, pointing it out to those judges.
Yeah. I think she was showing everyone, look, I stuck it.
We've talked about how tough it is to stick these tumbling passes.
Girls that stick really have a good air sense about them. Know exactly where they are, like
that's right. Back to the vault. They've been cheering for multiple gymnasts, but we have Kyla Ross.
She looked very solid in warm-up. Huge Yurchenko double full. One baby step on the landing. Nice distance. I'd say she looks pretty good.
She looks confident. She looks in great shape at this point in the season. We've mentioned that for a lot of these athletes, they're just getting back into competition readiness and landing vaults like that on hard surface.
Kyla never seems out of shape to me. She's always consistent. And I think that's something Marta and the rest of the selection committee really look for in athletes.
Up next on balance beam, Kennedy Baker from Texas Dreams.
I remember my first classics coming out of an Olympic year. Only did 2 events, but wow, I was nervous.
Well, it's a whole new sense of expectations once you've been in the Olympics. Of course, the minute you step up on the podium, like we heard for Kyla, everybody starts cheering and you're thinking, what? Wait a minute, I'm nervous. Why are they cheering for me?
Yeah. The other girls in the competition, I'm sure, like Kennedy Baker, although being friends with Kyla and Michaela, still look up to them and expect them to be the leaders here.
I think it's always great when you see Olympians, make the comeback or stick with the sport after qualifying to an Olympic Games. Really shows how much they truly love gymnastics. And like you mentioned, they're just not ready to give it up yet. I say all the time, if I could make a comeback, I would, but I am definitely a little too old for that.
There's something about competing and the adrenaline rush that you get that you just, there's nothing else that could replace it. So, Amanda, what about your comeback?
Well, it's been 17 years, Sam, so I'll just enjoy watching you in college. How about that?
Nice double back dismount.
Lots of height there and a perfect landing.
Coach Kim Meskel-Burdett looks pretty pleased with that one.
I always get a chance to talk to her, and she always reminds me it was way easier being the athlete than being the coach.
That's what they always say.
Back to the floor exercise from Gage, Brenna Dell.
One step out. Man, I think the past 3 routines we've seen out of bounds.
We've also seen big passes. Laid out full ins, double doubles.
Like we talked about earlier, this is a good meet to test out new skills, but with that comes a little extra adrenaline rush when you're competing a new skill that you've never done before. So that's probably the reason there's a lot of out of bounds this competition with some more of the experienced girls. Getting some confidence knowing they can over-rotate their skills so they can find the floor perfectly the next time.
Kyla Ross scored a 15.2 on her vault.
Front handspring double tuck, little short. Wow, she ran a long way on that. Trying to breathe before her next pass. Nice double pike.
Lots of difficult tumbling throughout that routine.
She could have used that extra space on the first pass.
In this rotation, we've seen tremendous tumbling. I remember the first time seeing a double-double. Well, now we're seeing them in different positions and multiple times. Next up on balance beam, from Woga, Grace McLaughlin.
Baker on Texas Dreams, 14.3.
Kennedy Baker scoring a 14.3 on her balance beam routine.
Now on balance beam for Woga, Grace McLaughlin.
Oh. Standing Arabian right off the bat, a little low. Looks like she's supposed to connect that into those leaps.
Tough skill to start with. We always talk about how important that first skill is, setting the tone. Oh.
On any event, if you have a bobble or a little mistake, it's really hard to get the rhythm back.
Solid there.
But it's just as important to get that rhythm back as it is to make a perfect routine. If you make a mistake, you're gonna make a mistake. It's gymnastics, you compete millions of times, but it's how you handle the mistake and can you get it back is what is important.
Well, I know for me in training, you never wanna make the mistakes, but a lot of times my coach, Mary Lee Tracy, would make me work through the mistakes in practice. So instead of stopping the routine and starting over or repeating the element, I would have to finish the routine to see how I mentally rebounded from that mistake.
Yep, I had to do the same thing, and those routines were my least favorite, that's for sure.
Yes, because that usually didn't count towards your assignment.
No, definitely not. And already knowing that it wasn't perfect in your mind. She finished pretty well, 2.5 dismount.
Grace McLaughlin on Woga on balance beam.
We have one floor routine to go. From Bannon, Simone Biles. We've talked about how powerful she is. We've seen some big and powerful tumbling on this event. Simone is in that same category. Can she stay in the bounds is the question at this point.
I know that she's going to throw some insane tumbling, and I recently saw a training video of her, and she did a triple-double. Can you believe that?
Wow. Just when you think they've maxed out the difficulty.
It looked easy, too. Oh, going easy with the tuck double-double.
Watering it down.
Watering it down. Very much in bounds. She walked into that pass.
Well, that's when you know you're very powerful, when you don't even need the entire diagonal to make these passes.
Definitely. Barely breathing before that double layout with the half. Once again, walking into that pass. She does say there's a little bit more pressure now that she's a senior. She has a little bit more expectations, but it looks like she's handling them well. Walking into that 2.5 punch front.
Yeah, she's not even close to the corners on these landings.
No way. Oh. Full in. A little bit short. Wow. Were those first 3 passes incredible? That's a bummer.
Well, you talked about handling that new sense of pressure. Strong routine, and that wraps up our 3rd rotation. We'll be right back with more.
Introducing Olay Fresh Effects Unstoppable Skincare. When every day is a new adventure, there's a new skincare lineup that can keep up. Start fresh and finish sparkling 24/7 with new Olay Fresh Effects. Catch them if you can at OlayFreshEffects.com.
What's the biggest number you can think of?
A trillion, billion, zillion.
That's pretty big. How about you?
10.
Okay. How about you?
Infinity.
Can you top that?
Infinity and 1.
Actually, we are looking for infinity plus infinity. Sorry.
What about infinity times infinity?
It's not complicated. Bigger is better, and AT&T has the nation's largest 4G network.
Hey, Dad, look at me.
Want to help your children land on their feet? A USA Gymnastics member club provides a safe, comfortable environment where kids of all ages can develop the skills they need to achieve their true potential. Who knows how far they might go?
Yeah.
Speak your mind up.
Today we will crown a national champion. Shannon, the most decorated American gymnast in history.
A lot of things at stake in these national championships. Destiny comes true for Nastia Liukin.
Here is your national gymnastics champion, a dream come true.
Come celebrate 50 years of champions at the P&G Gymnastics Championships in Hartford. Tickets are on sale now.
straight from inside. I'm waking up.
Here are the standings after 3 rotations here at the 2013 Secret U.S. Classic. Peyton Ernst still leading the way as we start our 4th rotation off on the vault. From Cincinnati Gymnastics, Lexi Priestman.
Only planning on doing a Yurchenko double this meet, but she can do an Amanar.
As you can see, lots of power there.
She's already qualified to the P&G Championship, so I'm sure we'll see all of her upgrades at that competition.
Yeah, just getting back out and getting used to this competition. If the skills aren't ready, those are smart decisions right now.
It's not a crucial point in the season.
That's right, we're starting bars off with Twin City Twisters, Maggie Nichols. Wow. Big release move, and it almost looked like she thought she was close. She came with those arms just a little bent. You could see one dowel didn't get over.
Yeah, she had it, slipped one arm off and just couldn't hang on with the other one.
Well, it happens that quick. You grab the bar, the dowel's not on, and before you know it, boom, you're on the floor.
And she was probably releasing her grip a little bit to do a kip, and that's what caused the dramatic fall. She looks to be okay, gonna finish the up 13.
These athletes train these skills so often, those kind of falls, although they startle you, they're very safe.
I think at this elite level, you also learn how to fall safely, as well as do your skills safely.
She has to pick up right with that other release, move down to the low bar, back up to the high bar again.
She doesn't look rushed. Smooth double layout. Nice finish to the end of that bar team.
And a smile on her face.
I think she's happy to be done with that one.
Yeah, not the exact routine that she wanted, but like I said, these athletes make these mistakes here, and that just inspires them to get back to the gym and work even harder where they're making those mistakes. Over to the floor exercise. From Woga, we have Madison Koshin.
Starting off double turn with her leg up right before this first pass. Tucked full in. Doesn't really look like she needed that extra little mat. Maybe she's saving her ankles or her knees.
You can see the white lines marked. That's to make sure they stay in the bounds.
I think the mat almost makes it more difficult because she has to tumble off of it.
Oh, struggle there, and of course out of bounds. Those mats are definitely an added cushion, but sometimes you see the athletes almost trip themselves up on it as well.
For me, the mats were always more stressful. Were they in the right place? Punching off of those mats is a little scary as well. Nice triple full. Quick twister.
Yeah, you see a lot of triple fulls, but that one completely finished all 3 twists before she landed.
Last pass. Double pike stuck into her pose. Nice solid routine from Madison.
On vault, score for Lexi Priestman.
We're going to take it back over to vault. Lexi Priestman scored a 14.75 on her Yurchenko double full. And next up, we have Abigail Milliot.
Score for Maggie Nichols on bars, 13.25.
We watched Abigail warm this vault up. She kept coming a little off center on the landing. Double full, stayed on the mat. You could see she did go out of bounds. When you watch that vault up close and personal, you can see she twists a little early off the table, which is why it shoots to the right side.
Nice clean in the air, but the beginning and the end of her vault needs a little bit of work.
13.25. Now on uneven bars for San Mateo, Erin Macadea.
Back to bars, Erin Macadeg.
Straddle the Jaeger. Into a Tkachev. Back salto, lots of release moves here.
I was just counting on my hand. Oh, that was a mistake. Courts the extra swing.
Missed her feet. I don't think she hit the ground though. Trying to regain her rhythm. She taps above the bar.
Oh, little short on that landing.
Dismount.
A lot of potential to that routine. Pretty easy skill there where she was towing on, missed the bar.
She seems pretty happy with how she did today.
You can see getting some last minute instructions there on that. Not instructions, corrections. I'm sure she'll hear about that in the gym.
Definitely.
So we go back to floor exercise. Madison Koshin got a 13.65, and next up is Peyton Ernst from Texas Dreams.
Tuck double Arabian into a stag. Getting an extra bonus point early doesn't hurt.
More bonus points there for the combination. See the gymnasts do a variety of different elements to get those difficulty points. We talked about how the code has changed. You used to see gymnasts jumping out of every single pass. Well, it's only worth something if the pass has an E value and or you perform a B skill jump out.
So that would be like a double pike into a sheep jump, which we have not seen yet. That would be a little crazy.
I wouldn't put it past anybody here, though.
No. Clean double pike. Open double back. Maybe she's going to upgrade that for the next meet. You never know.
Clean routine. And a solid meet.
Yeah, it does have potential to upgrade. She doesn't even look out of breath.
She was leading after 3 rotations by half a point.
14.2.
Competition is not over yet, though. Let's move back
on
to the vault.
We have Brenna Dow from Gage. Definitely wanting a spot on this year's Worlds team. And this meet right here is the first step.
Beautiful.
Nice, Aminar. Yurchenko 2.5.
Obviously starts right out with the benefit on the difficulty level, taking her to that 6.3. And very good execution. She stayed in the bounds. Pretty solid landing.
Yeah.
Now on the even board.
This young lady, second in the all-around after 3 rotations, Kyla Ross.
She has such amazing composure on every single event.
She's absolutely beautiful to watch. Makes it look effortless, almost like she's floating on these skills.
Makes it look so easy, never frazzled. Stays with it. Nice combination. Bail perfectly to handstand.
I believe she's hit every single handstand.
Wow. Wow.
You've talked about the fact that you've never seen her out of shape. Well, bars is the event that truly tests to see if you're in shape. That is a tremendously long routine.
And after this routine, and actually all of her routines, you can tell why she went to the Olympics.
Yes. And it's not just in shape, it's routine shape. The fact that she can put all those skills in there and pull it out like that is absolutely amazing.
And her mental game, too. Wow. Kennedy Baker next up on floor. Simone Biles on vault is scratching. Rough competition for her today.
Peyton Ernst earned a 14.5 on her floor exercise routine.
1.5 double Arabian to a stag, the exact pass Ali Raisman did at the Olympic Games.
It's amazing how many flips and twists and jumps they can actually fit now in these tumbling passes.
The floor is not that big. I don't know where the...
You'd think it got bigger in the last 17 years.
You do.
Because I swear we could not fit that many tumbling flips in one pass.
No way. And the jump after, you have to be so far in the corner to have room for the jump. Incredible. Double piked Arabian almost looked laid out.
After 3 rotations, Kennedy was in 5th place in the all-around. So far, this has been a great routine.
This meet should definitely give her confidence going into the P&G Championships.
Oh.
Double full, a little short.
Obviously at the end of her routine, but compared to the other passes, that one was easy. So just a little bit of endurance. She gets a pat on the back there. 1992 Olympian and her coach, Kim Zameskel-Burdette. We're going to be heading.
Kim has had so many girls here at this competition. Her and her husband, Chris. They must be doing something right.
That's right. Brenna Dow scoring a 15.55. And next up on vault from Gilbert, Arizona, Michaela Skinner.
She's going to be doing 2 vaults. Just like Michaela Maroney. Maybe it's a Michaela thing. Wow. Nice. Stuck landing.
Solid landing there.
Missed the block a little bit with her one hand, but it didn't seem to affect her at all. That vault's called a Cheng, after Cheng Fei from China. I competed with her in the 2008 Olympics. Incredible vaulter.
You see so many of the girls perform Yurchenkos only, so these vault specialists that can perform more than one vault really sets them apart.
I think for the crowd too, it's interesting to see a variety of vaults.
That's right, because we see a lot of the fulls, double fulls, and a few 2.5s.
And that first vault that she performed was worth a 6.4.
That's the highest difficulty vault we've seen today. Well, she waits for her second vault. The score for Kyla Ross on bars is a 15.4. And Skinner's first vault scored a 15.25.
Second vault now for Michaela Skinner.
I don't know if she can beat the Olympic silver medalist, but she's coming pretty close.
Well, Michaela scored a 15.425. And Brenna Dowell up there on vault with a 15.55.
Very clean Yurchenko double full. Look how far she is from the table.
You can see her confidence on that event. Not a stuck landing, but very commanding.
Right when she lands, she gets to that finish position quick. Stop her momentum. She's very powerful when she does her vaults.
On floor exercise, the score for Kennedy Baker of Texas Dreams.
Going back to the floor exercise, the score for Kennedy Baker, 14.05. And next up, from Woga, Grace McLaughlin.
Front handspring double full. Double pike, little step back. Also using the sting mat. A little extra cushion there. Clean 1.5 layout.
Catching her breath. Oh, little short there. Of course, the music had already ended because she stood in that corner a little extra long.
Good thing that mat was there to add a little extra cushion. Maybe it didn't hurt as bad.
She's ending with a 2.5, came up a little bit short.
It's good motivation to have lots of endurance on floor so you don't land short on your last pass.
Well, we talked about that. These kind of competitions, as you get back into the competition, doing full routines on the floor, you stand in that corner and you start taking those extra breaths, try to catch your breath.
I know in my training I always wanted to do lots of floor endurance, so I didn't have that question of whether I was going to make my last pass.
Champion Gabby Douglas.
Crowd going wild.
Gabby Douglas.
Reigning Olympic champion is introduced. She is in the house and people are rushing down hoping to get autographs.
Came to support fellow teammates Michaela Maroney and Kyla Ross. And it looks like Kyla Ross is doing okay.
Definitely. We do have one floor routine to go. However, those are back-to-back, so we're waiting on the judges to finalize the score for Grace McLaughlin. There, we're getting a shot. Gabby Douglas and Jordan Weber enjoying the competition.
Allie Raisman is one of the Fierce Five that's not here, but she will, however, be at the PNG Championships.
And the judges are ready for Ariana Guerra. The score for Grace McLaughlin, 11.9.
Ariana Guerra.
Nice double layout. Clean shape in the air, which is what the judges are looking for. Ooh, 2.5 over rotate a little bit. She was very far forward going into that punch front layout full. But she saved it.
Powerful choice of music.
Double pike, little step back. Very powerful. Looks like she's enjoying her floor routine. The crowd seems to be loving it as well. The little girl's clapping in the background. Nice routine.
Nice job, Ariana Guerra. Finishing up rotation 4 here at the Secret U.S. Classic, and we'll be right back to see the standings.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the Secret U.S. Classic. Let's hear it for all of these incredible gymnasts.
Well, here are the results for the Senior International Division here at the Secret U.S. Classic. Kyla Ross, 2012 Olympian, taking first place, but not far behind. New to the senior scene, Peyton Ernst. It was an exciting competition, and remember, this is just a stepping stone on their way to the P&G Championship in a few weeks. For Sam Peszek, I'm Amanda Borden. So long from Chicago.
Bring it up, bring it up. Go! Oh yes, baby. Oh yes, baby. This is August. This is August. What's up, man? Who's gonna step up? Oh, look who it is.
Watch, Mom, look at me.
Want to help your children get the hang of a happy, healthy life?
Look at you.
A USA Gymnastics member club provides a safe, comfortable environment where kids of all ages can develop the skills they need to achieve their true potential. Who knows how far they might go?
Good girl.
With Secret Outlast, conquer your busy day. Outlast your day, any day, with Secret's 48-hour odor protection technology. New Secret Outlast.
Winning 2 Olympic gold medals for Team USA still doesn't feel real to me. Achieving my dream feels like a dream. I hope I can inspire people to take AT&T's pledge to never text and drive.
My reason to pledge is for both of my families, my host family and my family at home. Find your reason and take the pledge to never text and drive. No text is worth the risk. It can wait.
Take the pledge now at itcanwait.com.
Introducing Olay Fresh Effects Unstoppable Skincare. When every day is a new adventure, there's a new skincare lineup that can keep up. Start fresh and finish sparkling 24/7 with new Olay Fresh Effects. Catch them if you can at OlayFreshEffects.com.